how do I build a newborn baby fragile. I'm sure if YouTube could talk, YouTube would be like, who is this novice of a mother to be? But I became so confused. I had to Google the littlest things, what time to change my baby, how often these are the things that ordinarily, if I had my mom there, I wouldn't even bother, okay? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Joy Azayom here. If this is your first time, make sure it's not your last. Do well to like, subscribe, share with your loved ones. And yes, today I'll be talking about the things I wish I knew as a first-time mom, guys. It's going to be a long one, but without further ado, let's get right into it. The first on my list, or the first thing I want to talk about, is identity crisis. Guys, nobody ever tells you the kind of changes your body goes through pregnancy and postpartum. Guys, it is mind-blowing. First, let us even give accolades to this God that we serve. God is an unknowing God. Like the way the woman body changes during pregnancy, and then when you have your baby, the physical changes. God, it is mind-blowing. Wow, it's a lot. Anyway, identity crisis is something that a lot of us are not mentally prepared for. I am a mom of one. I have a baby. My baby is about a year old now. And I remember taking in, and I started noticing a lot of changes. I see women talk about these things, but nothing prepares you for it more than when it starts happening to you. You begin to see these changes. You begin to see how your body begins to change from, someone like me, for example. I used to have bobo. My sister and my brothers, I got pregnant and my bum, everything started coming out. It's a plus, yeah, it's a plus. It's a good thing for me. But what about the other aspects that are not so good or are not so, Anyway, a lot of a lot of women go through these changes, and it is beautiful in the beginning because obviously you're carrying a whole human being in your body, and it's a lot of beautiful changes and all that. But what happens postpartum? That's the problem. After you have this baby and 3 months into postpartum, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, your body has not gone back to factory setting. Your boobs are still, as it is. You've not lost those baby weights. I mean, I know a lot of people are so blessed to have this snapback body. But guys, don't be deceived by what you see on social media. Not everybody is privileged to snap back just like that. I remember when I had my baby, the first the first month, I kind of just lost it. And then the third month, it started coming back up. I'm like, okay, I thought I just lost it. Why am I feeling fat? Why am I all of a sudden, I can't go back to wear my size 8 clothes, But that's one of those things. Was I depressed, or did I begin to feel a certain way? Yes, I felt a certain way. This is not even to come and sugarcoat anything. I felt a certain way, and kind of had something to do with my self-confidence at the time, because I'm one person who likes to wear my confidence on my sleeve. I love to look good. I love my physique. Back then when I was in Nigeria, I used to be a gym rat. So for somebody who is very conscious about how they look, how their body is, and all of a sudden you have this baby and 3 months, 4 months, 5 months postpartum, you're not losing it. And this is not to disregard the fact that you need to give your body some grace to heal by itself. But just like a lot of us who like to snap back because we're probably very active, or we're probably eating right or doing the right things, and then imagine not having the result you're expecting. For someone like me, after 8 months, I started intermittent fasting. I couldn't go back to the gym, so I got like a treadmill in my house, and I did it for like a month, and I got tired because I wasn't getting any kind of motivation to continue. So I did more of watching what I eat, doing intermittent fasting and all that, and still yet I haven't lost all the baby weight, to be honest, because prior to having my child, I was weighing 68. Now I'm weighing 76 or 77, So it's still like a long, almost 10 kg, imagine. And you see that 10 kg, trust me, it's almost not possible for you to lose everything. So the identity crisis is there. Sometimes we women, we lose our self-confidence, we lose that our self-esteem, because we feel like, oh, I don't have that banging body anymore. I don't look as sexy as I should. Now, this is one thing I've learned. Girl, rock that body. To be honest with you, you see this 10 kg I'm wearing on myself, right? This 10 kg that motherhood gave me, I am wearing it so beautifully, because it's not even easy to carry a child, the whole human being in your body for 9 months. It's a lot of work your body did right there, and you need to be grateful that your body can even do that. So yeah, I learned it the hard way to love your body. Am I still working on myself? Yes. Am I still doing the little things I need to do to keep myself in shape? Yes. But while I'm at it, I'm loving myself, and I feel like that's what I need to put out there. No matter how you see, even if you, a lot of us, I just have one. Imagine I have just one, and I feel this way. Like I feel like I've put on 10 kg. If I have 4 kids, how do I feel? So I'm beginning to learn to love my body, whether or not I have that desired shape, because you before childbirth is not the same you. If you notice yourself, you see that your hormones have changed. Even your circle as a woman, your everything inside, both internally and outwardly, you look more beautiful, you look smarter, you look more, I don't know, you look more motherly. There's a word like that. I don't know if it's a dictionary word, but you look motherly. Okay, so I want you to understand that you need to embrace that journey. The second thing I would like to talk about is the love life romance balance. So if you are a wife and before childbirth you had this lovey-dovey relationship with your partner, I feel like childbirth, especially if it's your first time being a mom, I feel like it has, maybe not a lot, but I feel like it kind of affects the marriage in the beginning. Like, I would use myself as an example. Now, this is a bit of backstory. So before I had my baby, we were processing for my mom to come over. That's my grandma, because I lost my mom while I was a bit younger. But we're processing for my grandma to come, and we thought we did everything right. And then I was supposed to have my baby on the 21st of June. And then that week, we got a refusal email that she wasn't granted. Imagine having to work your arrangement or your preparations around having your mom come around to do omogo. If you're African, you know what I mean. When you have someone who's going to come basically take care of your baby, do the little things that you obviously as a first time mom you don't know how to do. And then that week she got denied. It was as if my world came crashing, to be honest. I had to quickly run to YouTube. I'm like, how do I bathe a newborn baby fragile? I'm sure if YouTube could talk, YouTube would be like, who is this novice of a mother to be? But I became so confused. I had to Google the littlest things, what time to change my baby, how often these are the things that ordinarily, if I had my mom there, I wouldn't even bother, okay? But because there was no one there, obviously we had family members, like friends turned family, come around, every now and then to help us with things. But nobody will sleep in your house, okay? Nobody will come leave their own house to sleep. It's very rare for you to have someone who lived in this abroad that will leave their own house and come stay with you in your own house and sleep the night. I didn't have such privilege, and so we had to do it our way, okay? In the beginning, it was a bit of rift between my partner and my husband and I, because obviously we're trying to balance it. Now, what have I learned in this period? To be honest, I feel like it's okay for you guys to have a bit of back and forth, okay? Because to be honest, one of the things I even was a major concern in our relationship at the time was what would who do, what's my role as a mother? What's your role as a father? How do you combine, who's to do what? You know what I mean? So at the time, I'm like, okay, it's my role to breastfeed, to do this, do that. And as the man, you're supposed to do this, do that, And sometimes we don't understand our role, because this is the first time we're doing this. My husband has never been a father. I have never been a mother before. Growing up, I didn't even have the opportunity to babysit any child because I'm the first child, right? So it was a learning curve for the both of us. We had to learn on the job, guys, on the job. And that's one of the hardest things to do, to be honest. But yeah, it took a lot of communication, okay? It took a lot of sitting down to talk about it, because nobody's a witch. Nobody's a wizard. If you don't talk, if you don't communicate these things, your partner would never understand what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right. So it was a lot of having communications around what I think you should do better to support me as a new mom, what I can do to support you as a new dad, okay? Even though I know that the major changes happens with me because I'm the carrier of this child and I'm literally the mother, but you're also the father, and we have equal responsibility to this child, okay? So it was more about sitting down, having this conversation. And also, let me put this here, we also did a lot of appraisal. So you do something nice, oh baby, I really like that you did this, that was a good initiative, well done, you're doing so well, you know. I cannot tell you how many times that made me feel good. For every time my husband would say, baby, Omo, you did try. You know, it just made me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. And I try to reciprocate that, okay, because we're both on this journey. So that's one thing I've learned, and that's one thing that, something I learned. The third thing I have learned is that you would get a lot of parenting advice. Guys, nobody tells you. You're going to get a lot of wrong, I wouldn't say wrong per se, but you're going to get a lot of parenting advice that are not so suitable for yourself, your family, your orientation as, you know, whoever or wherever you come from. So I hear a lot of people tell me, oh, this is your first thing, this thing. Don't make sure your baby wakes up every night to eat every 1 hour, every 2 hours, you know. And for me, knowing that I didn't have help, I didn't have anybody that would be doing all those things. My husband had to go back to work less than a month after we had a baby because obviously money must be made, right? And I understand that fact. Bills keep coming in abroad, whether you're on leave or not. My sister, my brother, you're gonna pay their bills. It doesn't pay itself. So after 1 month, I was like, you know what, you need to go back to work. We need to, we need to strike a balance around this. Imagine just me. Maybe at night, my husband has gone to work and he's tired. I can't wake him up at midnight to say, oh yeah, come and babysit. Even though I know that he wasn't going to complain, but because I knew he had like an early morning the next day, I had to sit it out. I had to walk my life around having his support during the day and me doing these things at night by myself, you know. So at the time, it wasn't feasible for me to feed my baby every 2 hours. And that's why I didn't even start it. I didn't even initiate that structure, that system for her. So I make sure I feed her full before she goes to bed. And thankfully, my baby is the kind that when she sleeps like till she wakes up 6-7 hours, because I learned to, you know, lay her on her belly, which that was my mom's advice. And that helped me because she slept longer, okay? I would not want to interrupt my child's sleep because I want to feed her. And you know, with babies, whatever system you start with, you have to keep up with it. I didn't do it. Even though I knew people were telling me, oh, you have to feed her, you have to do this. It didn't work for me, okay? That's one thing I learned. So a lot of advice will come. Girl, know the kind of system or the kind of family structure you have. Know that you have to work these things around how it's going to favor you as a mother, as a father, you know, as a family. So that at the end of the day, nothing suffers. Mom guilt. Moving on, guys. Nobody told me that mom guilt would be this hard. My child growing up, becoming after I think I went back to work at about 4 months because I had to go back to work. I remember the first day I took my child to daycare for the first time. I remember the way she looked at me. She didn't cry, but I just felt like, Joe, are you doing the right thing? Leaving this child here, a 4-month-old, you know. And I remember looking back several times when I was living with my husband and I was like, baby, we didn't do the right thing. I was like, you would adjust. And yeah, the guilt keep coming. How many times do you feel guilty? You feel like you're not giving your child enough time. You feel like you're not there as you should. You feel like you're not. Girl, the list is endless. But guess what? Nobody will be a better mother or father to that child than yourself. And that's one thing I've learned. I have been able to walk through mom guilt. Do I still feel it? Hell yeah, girl, it never ends. Even when your kids grow, according to what I've heard from the mamas and papas and parenthood, because I'm still a child, but it never ends. Even when that child grows up and has his own child or has whatever, you still feel a sense of responsibility for that child. And for every time you feel like you're not doing it right, 99% chance you're actually doing it right. And that's one thing I've learned. I've learned not to allow mom guilt overshadow my sense of responsibility or sense of rightness. I feel like I'm doing it right. And I feel like I'm a good enough mom. So that is one thing I wish I knew, that, Joy, you're a good enough mom. No matter how you feel like, you know. And this is what I'm beginning to embody. I'm beginning to embody that understanding that no matter how you feel like you're not doing it right, you are actually doing it right. The next point is Self-care. I wish I knew that self-care was a big deal. I didn't know. I used to think that have a baby, well, you need to take time. Oh, my sisters and my brothers, you need to take time to take care of yourself. My mom would always say, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give love to a child when you don't even have love within yourself. If you're frustrated, you're angry, you're bitter, best believe that child will have a taste of your wrath. And that's one thing I've learned. That's why most times I go to bed 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. in the midnight, sometimes 2 a.m. Because you see that time when I put my baby to bed at about 9:10, depending on her bedtime, till 3 hours, I take it for myself. I call my loved ones, I call my people I need to talk to. If I need to see a movie, if I need to do anything, upload my business, reply my business emails, do the for myself. That way I wake up the next morning rejuvenated. I wake up alive. I wake up refreshed, happy to see my baby because I'm thrilled. Okay, I have that love. I feel content in myself because the truth is, aside from being a mother, I'm a person. I'm a woman. I have purpose. Okay, motherhood is an accomplishment, don't get me wrong, but that's not all I'm called to be. That's not the only thing God has called me to become. Okay, I am more than just a mother. So if you don't balance these things, if you don't love up on yourself, if you don't do what you need to do, if you need to go change your hair, do your nails, meet up with friends, create time for it, right? Do what you need to do. Make sure you're happy. Make sure you're a happy mother to that child because that is what is important. Another thing I wish I knew before having a baby is that your kids would 95% chance not have you as their fave. Okay, I mean I have just one child, so maybe I'm not even in the best position to even give this points, but I just feel like I need to chip it in. My daughter is very close to my husband. Do I get jealous? Makachuku, I do. I won't even lie because I feel like now me carry you now, babe. What's up? What's happening? But it's okay. Okay, there are times when my baby will be quiet and she'll be, and the moment she sees my husband, tiki, 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 she'll be running as if they're chasing her. And the moment my husband carries her, it's all over. You'll be the one to feed her, bathe her, and I love it for her. Because you see that work part, I love it. It's just that sometimes I feel like you want to put us under. Makawai, So yeah, I feel like this is something I hear people talk about it that girls are very close to their dads and boys are close to their moms. I have not experienced the boy one because I will still get there by the special grace of God. By Christ who strengthens me, we're going to get there. And maybe when I have my boys, I will come back and redo this video. But for the things I'm seeing in my household right now, I was not informed. Nobody told me. I never expected it because the bond is too tight. And that's good. Trust me. Forget that I'm ranting about it. It's something I really love and it's a plus. Okay. Now this is just an additional point. Parenting is a trial and error thing, to be honest. And nobody told me this thing because I felt like being a mom, you're going to have it all figured out. I remember when I was trying to have my baby, I had prepared her room. I went into nesting mood. I had everything set up. I felt like I have it under control. There is nothing you have under control because it hits you like a bullet, okay? And you have to just find your ground. You have to find the balance any which way. And it's okay. There are trials and errors. I remember the first time my baby had colic. I cried. I remember calling a friend of mine who lives like the next suburb. I told her, I said, I don't know what's wrong with my baby. A lot of things. Also, I remember because I did 4 months exclusive breastfeeding. No water, nothing. That was the worst mistake of my life. I didn't know. Because then my baby would just stay constipated for a whole week. She won't do a number 2 for like 4-5 days. And people kept telling me, are you sure this is normal? I'm like, hey, they said it's exclusive. Don't try it. My sister, don't try it. Anyway, it's trial and error, okay? At the end of the day, you have to find what works for you. And it's okay if you keep making mistakes because, like I said before, this is your first time doing it. Don't be too hard on yourself. Extend grace to yourself as a first-time mom, as a first-time dad. It is okay if you don't know what to do. It is okay to call for help. It's okay to ask someone questions. It's okay to have people that would say, you ask like, okay, what do I do at this point? Even though when you ask and their answer is not it's not making sense, take the one you're going to take and leave the rest and move. Okay, so at the end of the day, it is what it is. All right, I just want you to know that everything is temporary. Okay, and that's what I'm telling myself now. Everything with motherhood is temporary. These kids will grow very fast and they will leave your house before you know it. So enjoy the moment, bask in the euphoria of having little ones, allow them, bask in the joy of watching them run around the house, do those crazy things, scatter your kitchen, scatter your bedroom, because I'm getting a fair share of it, my dear. But I feel like I tell myself all the time, this is just temporary. A day will come and I will miss this about having younger ones. When these kids grow up and they begin to talk and I become very expressive, I'll say, oh my God, I wish I had a baby. And I have my friends who say that now. So I'm learning that this is a phase and it's going to pass. And while I'm still in that season, I want to enjoy every bit of the season. Let me know if what you think. Let me know if you have experienced any of this or if any of these points are familiar to you. Feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below and I'll address it anyway. And then also let me know if you like more of this kind of content and I'm going to go right deeper to create more content for you. Again, thank you so much for watching till this. If you've watched this video to this time, you're the realest. Honestly, you're an OG. Thank you so much. Please do well to like, subscribe, share with your loved ones, and until we see again, ciao.